Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is almost week 2 and I'm here to tell you that it will be the best of times and the worst of times for DC United in the 23rd season of Major League Soccer. The team appears to be playing a brand of soccer that will be stressful to watch, according to Jason Anderson of Black and Red United. He is the managing editor at the blog, whose link is down below, and a definite read every week as you look to get to know more about DC United. DC United traveled down to Orlando for the first game of the season and had every advantage, including about 60 minutes of time where they were playing an Orlando team with 10 men. I personally think that DC looked better than they have in the past, but they're still trying to figure themselves out. Per Jason's comments in the article, they lack structure. If you did not watch my cheesy video from last week, it was a poem in lieu of a film of my face, whereby I read to you important details to the tune of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." "'Twas the Eve of Week 1 mentions a couple things. One, that Ben Olsen would be coaching. That's not true, despite what you think. He is the head coach, however, he was serving a suspension from the last game of the season in 2017, where both he and Lucho were ejected. Chad Aston was instead the coach for the game. He is the assistant coach for DC United, and if you ask me, would make a pretty great villain for a Disney Channel movie about soccer.
Become part of the nightmare. Turn yourself into a monster and fight back.
Number 2, Windmageddon. Hashtag Windmageddon apparently swept DC such that all flights were canceled. DC United ended up not being able to go down to Orlando until Saturday morning, which is no big deal. We still look 100% better than last year in my opinion, but we are lacking structure. We've got speed, but discipline, I would say we're definitely working on it.
It's been an eventful night, and it'll end all square.
Now, as far as league-wide news is concerned, LAFC won their first game of their entire franchise against Seattle, and Atlanta lost to Houston, at Houston 4-0. Losing 4-0 in your first game of the season with the promise that Atlanta has does seem like shitting the bed, doesn't it? You think that that would seamlessly transition into my segment, but it doesn't. And I'll tell you why. Orlando played with one man down because in the 40th minute, Victor Guerrero, midfielder for Orlando, was sent off for violent conduct. It was a pretty confusing situation, and we ended up seeing the newly implemented video assist refereeing, or video replay. It wasn't implemented in MLS until August 2017, so it's still working out some of its kinks. Now, don't let me get in the way of explaining a great system when MLS has a 5-part web series about video assistant refereeing.
The VAR's job is to check plays and alert the referee when a potential clear and obvious error has been made in one of 4 match-changing situations: goals, penalty kick decisions, direct red card decisions, and mistaken identity. It's not meant to change the way the game is played.
Except for that's not true. I feel like this fundamentally changes the way that games are played and the way that games are refereed. Who shit the bed? Video assistance refereeing. I just assumed it was going to make soccer more like football, American football, and I do not like the breaks in play for American football. Imagine the amount of time that one sits and waits while a referee stops in the middle of the game to go look at a computer screen, to talk to people on headsets who are like, wait a second, I don't know, you look like he flopped there. Carlos! What? I just don't like that. Former US player Stu Holden, who now is a commentator for Fox Sports, went on a Twitter rant about VR, which speaks to me on a whole nother level after watching DC United's game. But it gets even worse for the game that LA Galaxy played against Portland. Long VAR thread alert. Okay, let's talk VAR. MLS has been a leader in video replay, but there's still a lot of work needed, and I was very vocal on a Fox Sports 1 broadcast last night because it was really poor. Incident number 1. In the 38th minute, Johnny is taken down from behind by Farfan. He completely misses the ball and should be a clear penalty. On follow-up, Gio DeSantos' shot hits Farfan's hand. Another clear penalty. Referee Marufo. Okay, let me just go ahead and tell you I am not one of those MLS fans that has any sort of opinion on who refs what game. They all look the same to me. I don't know and I don't care. So the referee gets a clear look at it and waves both of those incidents off. If the ref doesn't think it's a penalty in real time, fine. I disagree, and he says strongly, but why not hold play on next dead ball for it to be checked by video replay and be 100%? As a ref, you know it's close and there were strong appeals. To look on the monitor would only take 1 to 2 minutes. Now, my complaint is that 1 to 2 minutes kills the mood. I don't want to sit and wait to see if this slide tackle was right or not right. It's a gut thing. That's what referees are paid for, to pay attention in a moment. The incident number 2. In the 91st minute, extra time. Valentin pulls down Leggett as he has a clear look at the goal from 6 yards out. 2 hands on the shoulder, pulls him back. Another penalty in Stewart's opinion. Again, why not look at it and be 100% sure? Better yet, how about VAR making the right calls? There was at least a minute before the ball was out of play and put back from a corner, giving them ample time. This one a little less clear and obvious than Ciani, but definitely worth a look. His final point is, the areas that concern me are the inconsistency in calls and the lack of communication with the fans and broadcasters. I understand there is and will always be a subjective nature to refereeing. Better communication would help everyone. And you know what? I happen to agree. I also think that VR played a negative role in Portland's loss, although I say good riddance, Portland. The president of FIFA currently is very excited about implementing this as part of the World Cup this summer. And if you ask me, that sounds like the worst idea. We already have 7, 8, 9 minute stoppage times at the end of games. Now we're gonna have 5-minute breaks in the middle of a game for some guy in the excitement and rush of a World Cup game to go look at a computer screen to decide if he made the right call. Now, there's a great article by Reuters linked below that talks about the World Cup and the opportunity for video assistance refereeing. And if you had any doubt in your mind whether or not VAR was something to adopt and love immediately, hear this. Germany's governing soccer body decided to demote their VAR manager because they had a number of incidents that had dramatically altered games, and realized, per the quote mentioned in the article below, that it had not been tested or proven enough such that they felt comfortable to be using it in their games. I happen to agree. Now, this weekend I'm headed to Atlanta. I'm visiting my brother, his wife, and their newborn, my first nephew. They are all Atlanta United fans. My brother is personally involved in the supporters group Resurgence, who has done a really awesome job of bringing the hype and excitement to the supporters section in a way that is not obnoxious or stereotypically neckbeardy. And I know no matter how difficult it got last year, we always managed to beat Atlanta. For their sake, I hope it is not a 4-0 loss. But what's to be sad about? You've got 2 Chainz, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a brand new peach jersey. I think they're gonna have a good year. It's okay to have a bumpy start. In fact, you might be better for it. And with that, I wish you all the best this weekend. Please like and subscribe this video. Share it with your friends with whom you may be joining for an MLS game this weekend. And in the meantime, peace, love, and soccer.
Our soccer.